And I suppose that's another thing. You got smelly cheese, non-smelly cheese.
Mm-hmm. You got stinky rebates and
Or
fragrant
who? Yeah, a stinky rebate.
Everybody wants a stinky rebate.
You don't want a stinky
You don't want to
rebate.
be the wrong end of
I've
that deal.
seen them before. I've had it. Some of my colleagues in the past who would negotiate these things and say, "Hey, Mark, look what I've got," and I'd be like, "That is a stinky rebate."
He's thinking to high heaven today.
I hope we're heading to Kansas City. I did take a wrong turning back there.
Did he give you one of the rerouting?
It's just, it didn't really get too upset.
Okay.
But I think we're heading towards Kansas City.
Yeah, 35. That all the way through Iowa.
Is that the
Down into KC.
See, that's the thing. I don't reckon I took a wrong turn earlier. I reckon it was wrong, and I was right by staying on this road.
You just knew.
It was my
It's your territorial army's DNA. It's in you, and you just always pointing in the right direction.
It was my spider senses.
Spidey senses.
Yeah, we are visiting Missouri here. We are going to be exploring some new places. Very excited to be going to a cheese factory. The cheese shop, or is this cheese factory? Some kind of cheese. Is it looking good? Look at that. I can't wait to try this cheese. Oh, look. Look at that. They've got everything here. Yes, well, I'm going to be having a look at what kind of cheese we've got to offer. That was an amazing cheese experience. So much cheese. I'm going back in for cheese. They have cheese.
Yeah.
Every type of cheese you can imagine. There's cheese for everybody. Just like rebates, there's a different rebate for every scenario. There's a different cheese in there for every taste. So yeah, we've got cheese. I'm blown away. But we've also got over there the home of the famous Chief Burger. I've not heard of it before, but it says it's famous, so I'm going to hit it up. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to sampling the whole spectrum of cheese.
Any holes in that cheese? Any Swiss? Any holes? Any Swiss? What are we dealing with?
Well, this is the thing you've always got to look out for. I mean, I know it sounds a bit cheesy, but
Ayo.
but you know, if there's holes in your cheese, there could be holes in your rebates.
You never want that.
Never want that. Sometimes you don't even know until you open it up. So in terms of what we've seen today, already, wonderful hospitality again. Very helpful in the cheese shop. I can't imagine though an unhelpful person in a cheese shop. I just think the two things don't go together. If you work in a cheese shop, I've never met an unhappy cheese shop worker. True. And I've been to many a cheese shop. I just think it's a fact of life. People who work in cheese shops are happy.
Yeah, I mean, can you think of another role in any corporate environment where it's the equivalent of working in a cheese shop? You're just going to be happy.
Probably working in rebate management.
I'd say, yeah.
Rebate management is
happiness.
like working in a cheese shop. It's just full of happiness, lots of different varieties.
What's one thing to
You never
make
know.
sure you maintain that happy work balance culture in rebate management?
Well, the thing with it is you never quite know what tomorrow's going to bring in a cheese shop. You know, maybe there'll be a new flavor. And it's exactly the same in rebate management. There's always something new coming out. And so even when you think you know it all in rebate management, there's something new to learn.
Mhm.
And I suspect that's the same in a cheese shop. I mean, imagine how long it's going to take you in that shop we've just been to be able to sample all 500 flavors and then remember them. Because sampling's one thing, but remembering and being able to deal with that specific type of cheese, not every cheese is cut the same way as well.
Not every rebate deal is the same.
No.
Sometimes you need spas.
Mm-hmm. You could be in that shop. I noticed there was no brie. Can you imagine? You've been there 500 cheeses, you've got it nailed, and then all of a sudden somebody brings some brie in. Says, hey, can you sell this in your cheese shop? That is going to take you, right back to the beginning again.
An adjustment period for sure.
Yeah, because it's not only being able to understand it yourself, just like with a rebate, it's been able to articulate it to others. And that's a big piece of rebate management. People know that these deals exist, or they might not. But you're actually undertaking a massive amount of stakeholder management. You're not just a number cruncher. You're an interpreter. You're taking these contracts, which sometimes are very complicated, and you're turning words into numbers. So you're taking blocks of cheese and turning them into slices so that people can taste them. I really hope, the connection's aligning well here. I know I'm stretching to put rebates and cheese together.
Kind of like the way you would stretch a piece of cheese.
Yeah, maybe the stretchable cheese. It's a whole new type of cheese.
It's better than canned cheese.
Yeah, yes. So I was going to say nobody wants canned cheese, but some people do. It was invented because somebody liked it. And so that is again the reality with a rebate. Not every rebate is everybody's favorite.
Not everything is a one-size-fits-all.
Correct. And I think this is why sometimes rebates get that bad reputation, because if you go to a cheese shop and somebody gives you some cheese that you don't like, and that's your only taste of cheese, you're not going to like cheese. You could have tried the brie and you might have liked that, but no, all you got was the Carolina Reaper block of cheese.
And it left a bad taste in your mouth.
And that's right. And that is the reality. It is about finding that right cheese to solve your rebate scenario. And so I'd encourage people who deal with rebates, or maybe have had a poor experience, to reconsider, well, why was it a poor experience? It was probably because it was the wrong cheese. And I can't say any more than that, really.
I don't know how you can.
At the end of the day, you've got to find the right cheese for you, and that is so important. Oh, look, we have a fire. This is the reality of cheese. Where does it end? At what point do you say, I am comfortable with all cheese? I don't know. I don't know where you draw that line. How many cheeses do you need to know to be a cheese expert?
How many rebates do you need to manage to be a rebate expert?
It's the same thing. What is the number? I don't know.
You could be someone who's been in a role in your company for a while, and they just sort of said, hey, you're going to be in charge of cheese now.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be in charge of rebates. Well, how long does it take? How many cheeses do you have to know? How many cheeses do you have to recommend to different customers before you consider yourself an expert?
Well, you can imagine day one, you go in, you've never seen cheese before. You don't even know what cheese is. And that first encounter with cheese is going to go a long way in terms of your experience. But let's say now you're a month in. You're cool. You understand the cheddars. You're down with cheddar. And then, you're in your comfort zone. And then somebody else comes along and brings out a whole different type of cheese on your plate. Like they brought out the equivalent of a special pricing agreement or a chargeback. And you're like, oh my, you have just blown my mind. I thought I was an expert.
I thought this was a simple 6-month aged cheddar.
Yeah.
It turns out it's some kind of funky smoked Gouda.
Can you imagine that?
Do?
Can you imagine if you only ever knew cheddar and somebody brought out a smoked Gouda?
Yeah.
You were going to be like, what is this? This is alien contraption.
Yeah.
What kind of person created this?
And are you getting that fragrance mark?
I am. I was going to say, for anybody listening right now on the camera, you'll be pleased that cameras can't pick up smells. We are definitely in farm country.
Oh yeah, I thought it was the giant sack of multiple cheese varieties in the back of the car there, but
It's not.
yeah.
No, but and I suppose that's another thing. You got smelly cheese, non-smelly cheese.
You got stinky rebates and
Oh,
fragrant.
who? Yeah, a stinky rebate.
Everybody wants a stinky rebate.
You don't want a stinky
You don't want
rebate.
to be the wrong end of
I've
that
seen them before. I've had it. Some of my colleagues in the past who would negotiate these things would say, "Hey, Mark, look what I've got," and I'd be like, "That is a stinky rebate."
deal. Stinking to high heavens,
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah, I'm like, "What are you doing? Why are you bringing that to me? I don't want to see that. That is one stinky rebate." And they were like, "Yeah, but sometimes in a commercial conversation, you have no choice. You're going to have a stinky rebate." But I know the reality is you're going to get the tough rebates. You're going to get the numbers wrong. Even with the best technology in the world, things will go wrong from time to time. Even as an example, you've got everything plumbed in perfectly. Well, we know that perfection is brilliant unless somebody throws a curveball into the process. So whenever you're building a process, you've always got to be mindful of that. If you make something too rigid, it breaks as soon as it's the process is challenged. And so you're always trying to find that sweet spot between flexibility, but whilst having control. And I would apply that to all walks of kind of rebate management. Rebate management, I mentioned earlier, people. It is people. The calculations are one element, but you could be working with your commercial team. So that can be your sales team. It can be your procurement team. If you haven't fostered the right relationships with those people, it's going to make your life a lot more difficult. You want to be able to bring value to the conversation, but be mindful. You need to know your trade or your industry first. So rebate management isn't just understanding rebates. It's not just the people. It's understanding the business environment. So if somebody was talking to me about rebates on bricks, the first thing I'd know is that bricks are priced per thousand. So when I see the rebate terms, they're per thousand in many cases. And having these understandings really help to build the right processes, have the right conversations with your stakeholders, and actually understand what's going on. So I'd encourage anybody who has to work with rebates, you need to go and speak to your boss, and you need to spend time in your business. You need to understand that drywall might be traded in square meters. Timber or lumber is traded in cubic meters. Some things are priced per ton. You've got your different units of measures. You also want to understand the context in why the rebate applies. So are we talking about high margin products, low margin products? Are these products that are priced by your sales team on each individual quote? So you really want to understand your business, because when you do, it will start to help you understand why the rebate exists. Or alternatively, you can actually talk to your commercial team, because they may have been just inherited this rebate just like you.
Yeah.
And it means you can have that conversation, say, well, is this right? Do we need this? Or should it better align to the unit of measure? Should it align to the customer or the behavior of the supplier? But you can't have those conversations without understanding your business. And I can't stress that enough. Never, ever, and it doesn't matter what role you're in, whether it is marketing, whether it is finance, whether it's rebate management, never manage your role or that business just by looking at numbers on a spreadsheet. It only tells you one piece of the story. You need to be able to put everything together, and then you're so much more effective, so much more credible in everything you do.
Amen, as they say out here.
It's so easy. Again, taking it back to rebate management, sometimes you pick up a contract and you think, what is this? As you put it, this dirty rebate. What is this?
Stinky rebate.
Oh, sorry, the stinky rebate. But don't judge it until you understand it. And that comes back to speak to your stakeholders. Why have we structured the rebate this way? Or why have we structured the commercial agreement this way? You know, or build out your own knowledge by working with others. Rebate management is massively about absorbing information because you need to get all of the pieces to understand what looks good, what doesn't. And when we were talking earlier about identifying, for example, risk factors, it's very difficult to manage risk in a business that you don't understand. Just like it's very difficult to manage risk in a contract that you don't understand.